Alrighty, g'day everyone. Welcome. Hope everyone's well. Before we begin, just draw your attention to the standard disclaimer. It says everything is for educational purposes only. And you are responsible for your trading decisions. Alright, let's jump in, folks. Let's have a look. No, it's before we start though. I'm just going to show you this one that just occurred. Pound dollar. Nice push up through resistance here. These are the ones we looked for. Look, a bit climactic. As well as, getting on board the long. I'm going to topped out here. I was waiting for try and get in. I saw this little sort of entry through there. It's kind of tempted, but I took my eye off it. But anyway, then when it tagged the moving average, right? Now this is that moving average separation that I talk about. And there's one on XMR that I put in the room, which I'll mention. So when it tags it, rejects, then the next one, it usually tags it, rejects, and then goes to, on the smaller time frames, doesn't always do it. But when that's then ready to push through, that's when you get your next trade into the 20. Alright, so that one there. So where that is, on the 1 minute is here. Alright, so that was a beautiful little trade. Alright, so that blue line there is the 8 on the 5 minute. So through there, look, a little bit of milling around, then bang, straight into the 20 through here. And then see what it does from there. So in there, maximum stop kind of out there. So that was a kind of a 1.6 hour trade. Alright. Alright, so welcome anyone that's new. Welcome anyone that's from public YouTube. Thank you for your company. This will be the last open day. So if you like what we're doing, have a look at FXF Traders and consider joining up with us, subscribing. Alright, let's go through the markets. I know the analysis is probably a little bit more detailed than what some are used to. Alright, S&P 500, we said that this, all along this looks positive. A bit of a pause through here. It's okay, that was kind of our triangle look. But either way, it's just squeezing into resistance, and it looks to me like it's ready to have another leg. So this could be, the magnitude. The magnitude looks very similar in terms of kind of length to these. See that? And that's often the one of the rules of Elliott wave. VIX dropping back down. Dollar index. Still just holding around this low, just sort of milling around there. Euro dollar we liked long. Where's the watch list? So Euro dollar we liked long. Daily's okay. 4 hour. We had the channel through here. We had the pullback in here. Went under the 20, so we wanted to see it above. Right? So you could have taken the entry, somewhere there. I said about the outside bar there would be probably good enough. It's actually kind of setting up again. I'm happy to leave that on. Just be careful though, we're getting near the high here. But there is still some technical targets above. Alright, so still looking for that to push up through there. So if you got in there, then hold on. Alright, let's go through the usuals. Copper. We're looking for we're looking for an entry on copper. We had the quasi money bar here. I said we had the the reasonable setup there, and that would be an entry straight through there. So if you're in there, just keep holding. That's not bad. I'm not going to put it on. I think that's probably the we need to let this sort of play out. If you got the stop, if you got the 1, 2, 3 entry, we had a nice push through there, so then you can bring your stop up under the consolidation. Alright, so you're halving your risk. That's one of the rules with the 1, 2, 3. Wide range bar, a series of dojis. Then once you get a momentum bar, initially, so your entries through there, initially your stop needs to be under here, or if this is very big, around the 61%. As soon as you get the momentum bar, then you can bring it up under the consolidation, which would be here. Does that make sense? Quick lesson on that pattern. Alright, gold we were liking as well. So this is still okay. I'm happy to put this back on. Yeah, the single leg pullback in there, that was good. So tag of the high there. So that was worthy. Right, put it through a little bit of pain, but then it took off. And this in here was actually another setup. On a 60-minute look, just an ABC. Right. So, you know, often, and I've spoken about this, often if the wick is very large, use the closes. You can see that's kind of where it got to. Oh, there, Warwick. I got that one through there. Out here. So see if we get another setup under the high. So we're getting the cut with handle look. So we're actually getting a little bit of it. It's up to you whether you want to consider a setup in here. So the 60-minute, we got the nice push, the kind of sideways stuff there, and then it's sort of dug down. So that can be the shakeout through there. So see if you get something in here. Alright, silver. Silver just pulling back. This actually is A, B, shall I C, but it's extended on the daily, and look where it is right near. So it's up to you whether you want to take that one. See it here. A, B, C, and then just kind of bleeds into the into the moving average. That's okay. All right. WTI. WTI, we're still looking for longs. Sort of messy sort of stuff in here. Haven't really had a clean sort of setup in there, have we? All right, but I'm happy to leave it on. See how we go around this wick. Alright, so what is it I'm seeing that's worthy? Alright, so euro dollar. Let's go through the trades for starters. Alright, so we had the Hang Seng, mention about this. So it was a good one through there. There was an early entry in there that I mentioned on the 60-minute. So very big ABC, that was your entry straight through there. Take a partial. You can see it's rejected there at the high. So you should be taking a partial there. If you got in on the daily, when you're using a stop under there, you can bring it up under that bar. If you got in on the 4 hour, you got in on that setup, stops through there, you can bring it up a little bit higher, maybe into break even. So that's working okay. Okay, we have the British pound. The British pound through there, looking for a push into the high. So these are all ideas that we looked at yesterday, folks. Here it was through here, and we had this ABC through here, and I said that was a bit of a quasi 1, 2, 3 plus an ABC in here. So the entry through there, push into the high. You might have got maybe something out there, but otherwise, hold on, see how this plays out. It's getting a little close now. We are getting the rising 3. So the entry would be above that, stop under that. It's getting a little tight. But anyway, that bodes well for a potential long. Stop should be under there now, almost to your break even. So I won't put that back on, even though it's, you know, it's still sort of setting up. I've just made mention of it though. A couple of good ones, and I hope Jacob stepped up to these ones, because he had a couple of losers in a row on similar patterns. Dollar CAD, down, down, down. We had a test of the low, push through the low, pull back. So this is the breakout, pull back. So shakes everybody out, takes everybody out. Whose stops are very close. A, B, C. We said we liked that one. We liked it for an entry straight through. B, stop up here. So look, you easily got one and a little bit extra out to through the low. And if you're in that, yeah, stay in that. Bring your stop into, you know, probably break even here. See if we can get another couple of bars down. If not, if you took, you know, you're happy with taking one and 1.5 or so, then well done. So about 35 pip stop, and maximum was about 47. So probably only 1 and 1.25. All right. So I hope, so that's a reasonable example. Jacob, we spoke about 1, 2, 3, 4, didn't we? I said that was nice count here. So notice how cleaner, how this is a bit cleaner than the Aussie ones, Aussie Yen, Aussie Swiss. There's the 20. Here's the 8. Oh, it's got that look. See that? 8 pulls in, getting ready to, you know, it's getting nice and tight. Early momentum, and bang, through it goes. So that's ideal. And look, you know, the momentum pushed it through. You know, you take a partial in there, and then, you know, you might have taken the rest out, you know, maybe somewhere around the low, I don't know. So that is probably a better and cleaner example, Jacob, as a short. All right, we did like that one. And the other one was the dollar Chinese. So we're looking for, I didn't find anything, oh, that's not it. Dollar Chinese yuan, this is it. All right, so we had very similar, ABC on the daily. 4 hours very big, but remember this, look, got the back, kind of back-to-back hammer sort of look. That was good enough through there. All right, stop up, you know, above the high there, or somewhere else there. So didn't really even give 1R though. All right, 1500, about 1300 it went. Yeah, about 1100. All right, but notice here, look, so you came in and tested around these again. So I'm finding that that's happening a little bit more. So just take note of that. You know, the closes rather than the low. Just note that. Maybe when you are putting your, you know, your targeting on, you know, target that as well. This is still kind of okay. So, you know, look for another setup if you like that one. Yeah, certainly got weight on it from the weekly that we spoke about. All right, so what is it that I like? So gold we spoke about. Okay, Aussie dollar finally. Aussie dollar's been in this, you know, this ranging setup. Finally come out holding with a bear sandwich. Weekly looks okay, and you can see through here, look, you know, very choppy sort of stuff. You know, reasonable range trading through there if that's your thing. So the 4 hours giving us a, you know, base, double bottoms, pushed out of that. Give a very sloppy ABC through there. A little pause in here. So see if we can find something in there. Even the 60 minutes a bit messy. Just got a little bit of a flat something or other. So it's not, certainly not clean. When I say clean, it's not bad. You've got to push. And just a sideways pause. I probably wouldn't take just the break through those, but that, you know, would be okay. Not really a whole lot of room. Anyway, look, it's there. So looking for a push up into the high. Aussie dollar. Okay, New Zealand dollar. So we liked this yesterday as well. Still testing this level. Still testing that inverted head and shoulders. Look. Just gingerly sort of into it, isn't it? Got the bear sandwich again. New Zealand and Aussie often perform the same. We spoke about this structure here. I wanted to see pull out before getting interested. So look, we got that little IO through here. Inside, outside. So that's the igniter, igniting pattern. So I hope a few of you kind of saw that one as well. Entry through there. Well, that was valid. So that was our 8 o'clock candle. So that was at the stream. So then that one formed straight after. All right. So that's not bad. Yeah, stop straight up under there. 27 pips. All right, so it's just on one arm. Pretty good. I don't mind that one. That one is market structure worthy. So if you're journaling these, folks, we should be. Then that one is a great example. Market structure, where's my patterns? Come on. Back. Up. Setups, there we go. IO. There we go. Alright, copied. Alright, so one to look at later on when you're sitting in the doctor's office or somewhere waiting for a train or a bus or something. Right, so that's New Zealand yen, New Zealand dollar. The other one we're looking at yesterday as well, which was New Zealand yen, gave the IO as well as the 1, 2, 3. So that was the one we were looking for, and that was a bit of a nasty little. Everything looked good here, but then we had the news came out on the US, and kind of just shoved everything backwards. So there's the setup there, coming out of a shakeout. Remember I said there that's probably good enough just to take it straight through the wick. So you may have gotten entry in there, stop under there. You might have gotten something before the news. If not, if you didn't, should be exiting. Part of it under that. Clearly that was got hit, and then down, and then you probably got the rest out there. So avoiding full losses is all part of it as well, folks. So look, this is back up. We've got a V reversal again. So let's see if we can get another setup. All right, we might get a A, B shallow C, give you an opportunity through there. The 20 looks like it's coming through here. Here's the 8. All right, so that would be a reasonable look as well. New Zealand. New Zealand yen. It's a WTI we did. Swiss Singapore is still looking okay. We've got this, the weekly looks okay, the daily's kind of basing, looking for this to push through here. It's just sort of taking its time. We didn't get anything clean in there. Now we've got the potential sort of, although this is getting pretty deep. So this might be one that I just remove right now. Anyway, what I was looking at was this. You got the nice move up. Hoping that we might get the inverted head and shoulders against resistance, and then look for a setup maybe in there. But this could be a little deep. Notice here too, the IO in reverse. Alright, I'm going to remove that one. Swiss Singapore doesn't look as good now. Okay, pound yen, counter trend long. I still haven't quite broken. So we've got the the retest of the high here. Got a potential little bear sandwich there. We were looking at this the other day. We didn't get a pullback, an early sort of pullback in here. Now we're just getting the cradle. There's that shake on the employment news. So see if we can get a setup in here. All right, pound yen. The other one is pound Singapore. So this is just attacking this high again. We've got a price void through here. So you see, look, we had a bit of a mild consolidation there, then a break, and then we got sort of taken out. So see if we can get another setup. Through there, getting higher lows into resistance. Take the break. That's all I'm seeing on currencies, folks. Let's have a look at the news. Alright, so there's that news last night. So we had ADP for starters that came in, very soggy. And then we had this one here, the services PMI, came in under 50, which indicates contraction. Got a pound construction PMI in 6 minutes too, so see how that affects those pairs. And then later, we got the interest rate for euro. Then in 4 hours, unemployment. And then Friday, the big ones, NFP. So that's what I'm seeing there, folks. All right, let's have a look at these cryptos. All right, so as we mentioned, a lot of these, look, they've tagged the 8 and then they're heading down. Thought this might have had a little bit more potential, but no, didn't get that one right. So leave that alone. Avalanche, so these are all, kind of now looking short. Look at the, the big pullback on the weekly. This is turned into a big corrective. That was my concern when a few of them couldn't get through. Look. All right, here's the, here's the 20 there. So they've got that look, haven't they? So look for shorts. Binance coin though, I like this, and I liked this yesterday. So you might have got an early entry through there. Now we're kind of getting another one, which is not bad. So I'm going to put that one back on, Binance coin. So not bad. Nice little, coil into here. Look at the, nice steady state trend on the moving averages. That's not bad. Seems to operate on its own page, that one. Bitcoin though, look, this looks, remember I was concerned yesterday, this was looking corrective. Got the 200 period under there on the 4 hour. Got a little bearish engulfer. So is this turning into a head and shoulders? Yeah, maybe. Just be wary of that. Get back over there. All right, Doge, look, pull back into the 8. You know, there's potential these will just double bottom out, and then, you know, we're getting a decent separation here. That's, you know, in its favour, and we've got the climactic into it. So that's always a concern. Ethereum though, remember this? So this has got potential to retest that again. And remember I said don't just trade into it, think it's going to pop like these, because look what happened. This is exactly what I warned about. Header out, look, this looks short. This looks a bit cleaner than the others. So we're just testing the any of the anchors. So yeah, look, that's short. I'm going to put that in as short. Where's the anchor? It's here. Are we short? Yep. Link. Yeah, look, link. Very similar. Not quite as good on the weekly. Excuse me, near as well. Look, couldn't get through. Looking short as well. Yep. Near. These are some of the more popular cryptos. Pepe, look, it's caught on the 8, so I'll just be careful with that. I'm looking at, but that does look short too. Solana, yeah, look, it's back under the 8. Bearish engulfing. This looks short as well. A little close to the low. Look, TRX is gapped. That's a good sign. No. Alright, so this one's looking not bad as well. Trend is still up. This is all just ranging back above the moving averages. The 20 is a little flat, but it's not bad. See if we can find a setup through there. Taking the best fit with those. I suggest that is reasonable. Anyway, see what we can get in there. So that's still long, TRX. XLM, yeah, this looks short too, look. It's sitting reasonably close. That's not bad either. Alright, so that's another short, counter trend short, that one. What's that one? XLM. Alright, not as steep as the others, so you know this is more as a steady trend. Now the one that I do like, this one, I've been trading this one, XMR Monero, came down, and I posted in the chat today, said about this one, it's made a little tiny climactic on the 60 minute. Alright, so we had the push into it. See it here, look, here's the 8. Alright, so we've got the bar number 1 push, bar number 2 rejects, 3 is the one that often goes through, which it didn't. So I got some entries through here, pulled back, and then I think I took another one, and then took some exits. I even was looking on the 15 minute, look. So let me show you that. Here it is here. So what's that there? There we go. That's the 15 minute. Oh, where did that go? there. All right, so see the little ABC through there. So we got very early entry in there. That's that one. Then when it broke the high of that, that's the legit entry. All right, so it was stop under there. All right. Then I added to it. You can see added twice there to it. Milled around. I was hoping that was going to push, quite early. It didn't. All right, but then it just milled about a bit. But my stop was safe. Gave this little bottom. Then bang, it pushed. So I've taken a couple of profits on that already. So that's that one. So I don't mind that. Oh no. Stupid thing. So crap. Goes into the trash. Well, they just leave the old program. Had it the way that I liked it. All right. I selected delete. There we go. All right. So that was that one. So there's that little first one. See it there? And then I was hoping it was going to push, straight through. Anyway, I'm still in that. So that's that exact strategy that I teach on those climactics with the moving average separation. All right. So the climactic was on the 4 hour. See, enough room. Shake out through the low. Let me bring this up. Right, then looking for the setup on the 60 minute, right, and you can fine tune, right, on the 15, which is what I did here and here. And then looking for push into the 20 on the 60 minute. I actually got there a little quicker, so I actually pushed through it later. All right, so it's got a nice whole price void through there. Sitting right at the 61. So that is good. Yeah, it's up nicely. Yep, that is good. Alright, so that's that one. Ripple. No, look, can't really sort of get there. And this is looking... This is looking corrective too, isn't it? It's got much of a... No, it hasn't. It's above the moving averages though. So, that's what I'm seeing with those cryptos, folks. So let's see what we get. So, yeah, a couple of good trades. Just be careful with the news. Remember I said keep your risk a little bit lower, perhaps this week. So, trade safe, folks. Dollar Singapore and dollar Thai baht. Sorry, did I miss those? I did. So we had these yesterday. Yeah, sorry, a couple of days ago. They're just forming this little sort of platform here. Look, so this is not bad. All right, third go. It's not quite clean, but these are still reasonable. Sorry about that, folks. I was about to sign off. All right, so look, got a big move here. That can be negated fairly quickly. Take the breakout, stop above here. All right, targeting these areas. Once again. So this is not bad. You can see it's just sitting there. The other one is dollar Thai baht. So they're not as clean as the others. So you can see dollar Thai baht's doing the same. Right, slightly lower. So take that low as your breakout level. Get in there. Same thing. Look, often that is a shakeout, and then you'll find on the lower time frames it gets ready to pop. But both of those are, have got the important levels below, so just size accordingly. That's what I'm seeing, folks. Alright, so if there's anyone that's joined us from YouTube land, then thank you for your company. Please consider, if you like the analysis, please consider joining us. I know it's a bit more sort of technical than most, but it works. That's the main thing. Alright folks, take care, trade safe, don't forget the news, and we will see you tomorrow. Alright, bye for now.